Today's guest on Only Human is Adam Martin. Adam is a photographer, and if you want to view his artwork, you can see it in the Instagram link below. Adam and I talk about growing up on the internet, religious experiences, meditation, and a little bit about his work. Adam briefly shows a few pieces of his artwork during the podcast, so this episode may be best consumed over on YouTube. The link to that is in the description. Enjoy the podcast. Adam Martin, how are you, man?
Hello, Christian. How are you?
I'm doing great, dude. I'm happy to have you on here today.
Yes, I'm so happy to be here. This is amazing. I'm really excited.
That's what's up.
Um, yeah, let's go.
So, can you tell me a little bit about your work?
Yeah, absolutely. Um, I'm a photographer. Started taking pictures like my last 2 years, mostly last year of high school. Decided that I wanted to go to school for it. I took some pictures of different concerts and stuff like that. I've always been really into art. And after that, I just kept on taking pictures, building up my portfolio while I was in Kent State, shooting in the studio, things like that, as much as I could, until I ended up doing a couple single covers, and then it just kind of went up from there.
Okay. So, I'm gonna ask you a question that's probably gonna lead into your story arc. And I ask this question to everyone. So, what event led you to your biggest personal revelation?
Mm, Good question. Um, See, this is a really tough one because there's so many different times in my life where I had different revelations at different times. Like we could talk about the time where I like just found out I was gay and like coming to terms with that and like so many things. But I think most recently what I would say is I took a trip last year, like right around when COVID was just starting to get bad. I went to LA to visit one of my best friends, EMMY, and I did some pictures there and I fell in love with LA, and it was my last semester that I was my third year at Kent State, and it was like pretty much right before finals, before school had been like shut down and whatnot. And I literally became obsessed with being out there. Everything was amazing. I met so many cool people. And so I finished the semester and then I ended up taking a bunch of more trips to LA that summer and doing work for some of my friends, did an album cover. And every time I would go there, everyone would like hint at, you should drop out, you should drop out. What are you still doing in school? Like, you're doing this and that, like, yada, yada, yada. You don't still need to be there, and they were right. Like they were right. I don't. So basically, after a couple of trips, I decided that I was gonna take a break, so I didn't go back like that semester. Um, and basically, like this whole year uh, was my first year off,
Okay.
and I didn't go. Would have been my fourth year at Ken, but
Okay.
instead I took time for personal growth. You know,
Good call.
personal, professional things. I would say.
Okay. So, can you tell me about how your photography skills, fine art skills evolved over time and maybe where they started first off?
Yeah. I I think it was in third grade when I read my first manga. I've always been, and like, no, not always, but ever since then, I read that. I really could not even tell you what it was. It was something my teacher just had in the class. And then I went home, I was super obsessed with it and like looked it up online. And from there, I got really into anime and reading manga. And I was drawing anime and manga all the time. And all through middle school, I like joined DeviantArt and different websites where I was sharing a bunch of things. And those profiles still exist and they're like super embarrassing and you can see my old art,
Oh
but some
shit.
of them are kind of good.
Okay.
But I was trying some interesting things. But basically, I was super into like traditional art and like making comics and made a bunch of internet friends. Then once I got into high school, I got way more into like, I would say like fine arts, developed my like painting style more. It was way less anime and more just more me, my own sort of thing.
Okay.
I was really set on going to art school. I wanted to be either an animator for Disney or storyboard artist, something like that.
That's sick.
Yeah, I don't even yeah, I went to Disney and I was obsessed with it, and I have all these art books, like The Art of Tangled and The Art of Monsters University, and, like, I just was really into that stuff, but, high school, all 4 years, there was never a year where I wasn't in an art class. I took every single one of Mrs. Toth and Mrs. Huber's art classes, which was really nice. I love Mrs. Huber, she's my mom. Then later, like junior, senior year, I started to take photo. I got really into that, realized that I was pretty good at it, and I honestly was low key getting tired of my fine arts because I was doing it for so long. And it was like, I also started to realize it was something that I did more on my own, like for fun, not something that I wanted to profit off of, like for the rest of
Mm.
my life. I still doodle. I still have an art journal, like in my book bag with me right now that I like to sketch in and stuff. And like all 3 years of high school, like freshman, sophomore, junior year, I was submitting to like the Scholastics art show every single year, like my fine arts, trying to get pictures into these to get some awards and things like that. And I never got any award. None of those years off of my fine arts, which was my pride and joy. But senior year, when I started doing photos, I submitted a bunch of pictures and I got like 17 awards with the
Jesus.
Scholastics. I got a governor's art award from another art show um, for this crazy picture that I took as a joke, which is a totally different story.
Okay.
Um,
Wait.
yeah,
I'm gonna interrupt you for a second. Did you
please.
know that like you had it going on like freshman year, sophomore year, junior year before you got those awards?
So like honestly, I wasn't doing any photo then. So not at all. But like
Okay.
my art was pretty good. I would say it was good for sure.
Okay.
It was just maybe not as conventional and digestible maybe,
Okay.
for, like I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. It definitely wasn't bad, but
I
I
see.
can
So it wasn't
not
as consumable because I feel like you had like a niche going on with your deviant art, like especially with that community. Like,
yeah, it was yeah, like, there was one point where I was drawing furries.
oh
Like
shit,
yes. So,
that's
no,
what I think of when I think of deviant
I
art.
didn't
So
submit any of that into I was definitely, like, super anime, kind of awkward kid when I was in middle school. Like, I cosplayed, went to anime conventions,
that's
like,
awesome.
very much into that.
Wait,
I was
what's your
very
favorite anime? Because Jake Toth is on here and he talked about anime and he said Full Metal
Fullmetal
Alchemist.
Alchemist,
Yeah.
that's classic. I read a lot of that. Definitely not that. My favorite is Death Note. I
Okay.
actually have a tattoo of Misa, my favorite character from it.
Oh wow. Oh, that's
That's
hard.
Misa. She's great. I'm obsessed with her.
Nice.
Yeah,
So I'm
so I
sorry for
love
interrupting. By the way, let's keep
No,
going.
that's okay. You didn't interrupt. I love Death Note. I cosplayed from Death Note. I cosplayed as L. Crazy. Went to some conventions, and then I love Black Butler. I love Hitalia. I love Blue Exorcist. Attack on Titan's really good. I haven't finished that just yet, but
Okay. Yeah, I saw that Attack on Titan had like one of the best episode reviews, better than Breaking Bad's like total, and I was like,
it's like honestly brilliant. Not gonna lie.
okay,
So was Death Note for sure. They're both on Netflix.
okay. So, um, what happened after you got those 17 awards senior year?
Oh, so that was so fun. Like it really was because I went to the Scholastics art show and I don't my parents always had like always supported my art for real. Like they were really into it and whatnot. But art school was something that was always really expensive and I really wanted to go to art school, but we kind of realized that maybe it wasn't just going to be the best decision because of how expensive it was.
Hmm.
But then, as soon as I got all these awards and was getting this recognition for my photos, it like reignited a little because I really didn't want to go to college, but I ended up getting a letter from Kent State where they gave me a scholarship, asking me to go there. And my parents were like, you know what, like, you might as well just go there if they're gonna give you a scholarship. It'd be cool, like, and that's not as expensive as art school. Like, it will give you some time to figure things out. So that's like exactly what I did, and that didn't go necessarily as planned at all. Not at all. I was not the best at school.
Okay.
Um, but listen, school's not for everybody
You're not
at
wrong.
all.
You're not
It's
wrong.
not. And okay, so I started as VCD too, and the VCD program at Kent was it's honestly pretty intense. It's
Wait,
pretty
what is
hard.
VCD?
Visual communication design.
Okay.
So it's graphic design, it's all design with a purpose. So that's one of the things that they would stress all the time is like, you're not in here to make fine arts, you're in here to make things that are applicable and things that make sense that you can use and everything. Like, if you're putting a point on a page, like that point has to signify something.
Okay.
And like, it's really, yes, things have to be aesthetically pleasing, but they have to be extremely more thought out
Right.
than a lot more like fine art, like conceptual type things. Not saying that I don't put thought into my work. Like, you have to. Like, a good concept is everything. You have to put time and thought into it, but it's a very different type of practicality. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Yeah.
So they sort of it sounds like they emphasize like utility over or not over
Absolutely.
anything, but they really emphasize
Absolutely.
utility. Okay.
And I like it's a like we did a lot of like personal, like not personal, but like brand identity and like wayfinding where you're designing like how to get around a town, like signs, how to get
Hmm.
around a building and stuff like that. And that's just all very different from the type of work I ever wanted to do. But I went in there because I thought it would make me a lot more marketable.
Hmm.
And I did a full year as a VCD major. And then I made it my minor, switched over to photo major, and over the 3 years, I ended up finishing it out as my minor, but I didn't finish my photo degree.
Okay. So let me back up a little bit. So did you because I know before that you said that when you're talking about photo that it was more of like a creative thing and that
Yeah.
actually would you say that like art in general was more of a creative thing and that you didn't really want to monetize that originally?
Yeah, honestly, originally, that's exactly why I didn't want to do fine arts
Okay.
because that was something that's so precious to me that I not and I mean like fine arts isn't like traditional like drawing and painting, not necessarily like fine art portraiture and like stuff like that.
Okay.
Like my like painting and journaling and all that kind of stuff is something that I mean, yeah, I would love to maybe someday get money off of it, like if I'm just making some big paintings and whatnot. But if I were to pursue that as my full-time career, it just completely was killing it for me.
Right. It changes
Whereas,
everything.
yeah, it does. But with photo, it's gotten to a point where I'm able to get jobs that are creative and fun and more like my speed and things that I want to be doing,
Mm,
where it's less like it doesn't feel like a job. It's not a chore. You know what
right.
I mean? And like I do weddings and I'll do senior pictures and things like that so that I can get a paycheck, you know. And of course it's learning, it's fun to do those things, but it's not overall what I want to do long term, you know.
Right. So did that emphasis on utility did that sort of strike a chord with that part of you?
Yeah, definitely,
Okay.
because I that's why I really just could not do VCD because it was just so it was way too strict for me, and
Okay.
there were way too many boundaries and, like but even yeah, just all the technicalities of it, like kerning words and, like and there were parts of VCD that I loved. I loved design and illustration, like where we were doing like more heavier graphic design and like illustration, things like that. That was great. But things like typography and like making magazines and stuff like that, it was incredible to learn it. I got to learn like the rules so that now I can break the rules. You know what
Right.
I mean? But
Right.
it was good to definitely like learn the foundation and I love learning, you know, you have to learn in order to get better. I just realized that I can also keep learning without being in school.
Yes.
There
Um,
comes a
you said there comes a point. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
no, no, no. I didn't know if I even wanted to finish the
Oh,
thought,
okay, you're
but
good.
there was just a certain point where you can teach so much of a photo degree, I would say, and then it's very much you're learning how to apply the things that you've learned, and you're learning how to build your portfolio. And yeah, you're going to go to critiques and they're going to give you projects and things, but it's less you're learning technicalities anymore and like how to use a studio, how to use the equipment and the lights and how to do this and yada yada yada. These are camera settings. And it's really just like, okay, now do it,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And especially as soon as the pandemic hit, like I feel like everything genuinely fell into place so perfectly for me.
Okay.
Like it was insane how everything happened. It was like I took a trip to LA and then everything became online. And I was like, well, I don't want to go back next semester if it's online because it's my fourth year in college. And why pay for a studio space and equipment space if we're really not going to get full access to that? When that's what I'm doing in my free time is renting studios with my own money
Hmm.
and like, just making my own stuff. So I just, everything just I believe everything happens for a reason, for real. And
Okay.
it was one of those moments, like,
I totally agree. And I think it's funny because a lot of people I see online, like on Reddit or whatever, on Twitter, they always talk about how like the pandemic was the worst year of their life. And
for
I've been
real.
surrounded by people who say the exact opposite.
Yeah, it has its ups and downs, genuinely.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it is a ridiculously privileged thing to say
Mm-hmm.
that the pandemic did help me in ways, but like it did lead to a lot of personal growth for me.
Yes.
But like, thankfully, even when I had COVID, I didn't get super ill from it and was able to bounce back. And now I'm fully vaccinated, but not everybody has that opportunity. So I totally don't want to say that the pandemic was like
Right. I
good.
still feel you though. I feel you though. Like that's
Exactly.
yeah.
It was
Yeah.
really just things just kind of started to work out in different ways.
Yes. Before I move the topic on, I want to talk a little bit about just briefly that when it comes to being creative, you need boundaries. I mean, I feel like that's common knowledge in like the creative space, but um because if you have a blank canvas, it's really hard to like even know where to start. But as soon as you give
Right.
yourself like certain parameters, things
Right.
become easy.
Absolutely.
So, would you say that the boundaries at BCD were the things that led to its downfall?
Mhm. Yes, but it was I would say it was even more than just the boundaries. It was like I started doing something that I thought would be good for me. I thought that it would help me be more. I was like, this will just help me be so much more marketable.
Mm,
But as I was doing it, I really don't have the passion for it that so many of the people in that major have.
okay.
And then it's like when there's people that are so into it and they're spending hours and hours on their project, and then you put your work up right next to theirs, and it's like, maybe this isn't for me.
Okay.
Like, no, mine doesn't look horrible, but like, I clearly did this in 2 days and you didn't.
Okay.
But then you go into my other classes, like my photo classes, and that was not the case. You know what I mean?
Right.
It was the reverse. Like I had put all my time into that, and that's why I wasn't doing other things. So it was just a lot college was just figuring things out for me, really. It was just a lot of learning,
Okay.
and I don't regret any second of it. Oh my gosh, this is so embarrassing. I really, really you have to understand I was really an internet kid when I was in middle school.
Okay.
Like, I did theater, and that was where my friends were. I was not, like, as social and stuff in middle school at all. I had a couple of friends. It was very much like Adam's figuring things out about everything sort of time,
Yeah.
and Yeah. Even like I got one of my first leads 7th grade in Little Shop of Horrors. I did a ton of shows, but like after 7th grade, I was Seymour in Little Shop. I got so anxious that I couldn't do acting anymore. I went completely backstage and only did um, the lights and sound
Okay.
because it really just like I had done smaller roles and stuff before that, but like the pressure of the lead,
Yeah.
and I had 2 leads that year actually, which was pretty interesting.
Goddamn.
Yeah, yeah, I
So
got the
you
lead.
think you're a nice actor on the low? You haven't really tested your skills recently,
I
but
think I was a kid that was just having fun, that was just confident, like being out there.
I
Could
see.
I maybe? I mean, I would love to do a movie or something someday.
Yeah.
Like that'd be kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Listen, no, but I think reality show is like more my thing. But
Okay.
who knows? No, I don't. I would not say I'm a crazy actor, but it's whatever. I definitely was better when I was younger too, and before my voice dropped too. Like I was in choir and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in Eastwood Singers. So yeah, well, we did that
Damn.
little thing. It was like the
Yeah, I
anyways.
remember that.
Yep.
Yo, kitty.
Okay, wait. So,
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
sidetrack. Sorry.
You're good.
My username
It's my cat
was.
Calito, by the way. You
Oh my
saw him. I
gosh,
think you
my
met him.
cat. I love
His name
cats.
Meow.
I'd love a cat.
Probably not. Oh, his heart's beating out of his chest.
Really? He said, "Put me
He gets
down."
anxious too.
Hey, we're one and the same. Um, okay, so my username on my first account ever on DeviantArt was one Manga Madness one,
Okay.
and my bio is mad as a hatter.
That's hard.
So very much hi. I just watched Alice in Wonderland, and I think I'm like
That's
crazy.
awesome.
Anyways, let me see. So okay, yeah, I called this one Gothic Swag.
Gothics or Gotha?
Gothic
Oh,
Swag.
Gothic swag. Okay. That was at 12 or 13?
Wait, let me see. This was 2011. I was born in 98. So yeah, I was 13.
Wow.
Yeah. And then like, okay, wait, I have some other things on this. Like, yeah, 13 years old. And then I just did like a bunch of like this kind of stuff,
Oh, classic.
classic, there's L, there's Hatsune Miku, there's just a bunch of like, yeah,
That's
Sora.
awesome. Oh,
Yeah.
that Toad one is hard.
Thanks.
Did
I
you
would
make
watch a bunch
friends on DeviantArt, by the way?
Yeah. Some of my like first best friends I actually made on DeviantArt. I
Okay.
lived on there. I would sit online all night long talking to my internet friends. Craziest thing ever, actually, one of my first internet friends that I've made. His name is Cal, and his fiance Ash. Um, they live in California now. I met them literally when I was 14 years old. I'm gonna meet them for the first time next week in
Oh, wow.
California because we still keep up on Instagram and like we just finally are like, oh my gosh, like we're gonna meet, and it's like actually crazy.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool. And there's other friends that I still keep up with. My friend, her name's Veronica. I call her Bahanica. She lives in Maryland. I'm obsessed with her. And then I met another one of my friends that lived in Washington. I met them like my sophomore or junior year of high school. Yeah, I've kept up with a lot of my internet friends, and it was very much that was my home.
Okay.
And that was where I became exposed to a lot of things that helped me like just kind of come to terms with myself. Like I met like my first gay friends on there online. And it was very much I could be my own person online, and people really didn't know who I was. And like I made friends that only knew. So it was like I came
Yeah.
out online before I came out anywhere else.
That's
You know what
awesome.
I mean? I
Yeah.
was in these groups where we were like role playing like different fandoms that we were in. Very much that was, yeah,
Fuck, dude. Okay, because now I've like a. We don't have to talk about it now, but like
yeah,
I've. I felt like you're the only other person who I've met before who has truly like understood what it's like. Because people are like, oh, I grew up on the internet. I'm like, I'm a '90s kid, but like,
yeah.
you're the only other person who I know who like
Very,
grew. Yeah.
yes. Definitely, like, I got my first laptop when I was really young, literally like 11 or 12. I got a tablet and started drawing on it. I was 13 when I made Tumblr. Like, I'm
Yeah, that's
maybe not
insane.
13, maybe like 14.
That's pioneer
Uh,
shit.
that's serious, and I got super into that. And like my first Tumblrs were like fan accounts for different things, actually.
Okay.
And then, but yeah, I was definitely exposed to all things internet and memes and wait, I wish I could find this one picture. Wait, let me try to get this picture of my friend. No, this picture of me that my friends made.
Okay.
Um, Basically, like I would sit on Skype with all my internet friends, and at one point, all my friends like over a couple of weeks, they were taking a bunch of screenshots of me and they made this like meme board of me.
Oh
I'm gonna
my.
show you something. This is so personal. This is so embarrassing. I'm being so serious. My friend, I just asked my friend for it. She said, yes, let me find it. My friend Heather made this, okay?
Gotcha.
Uh, it was a collection of a bunch of these old pictures of me. And they're like, I'm wearing my like Hot Topic, like Irma Gerd shirt, you know, with the like, all just like the old memes and my hipster little glasses. And
That's
yeah,
awesome.
it was just, okay, I think
Dude, the
she's,
2010s, 2011, those are.
yeah, here's a picture of me cosplaying too. Oh God.
I need to
Okay,
see
so
that, please.
this is crazy. So, I mean, and like this is not funny. It's only funny because they made it so long ago when everybody would like put a bunch of pictures and then like make them into dumb meme things.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. So this is the first one. Oh my God. Okay. Also, it's funny because my old bedroom, first of all, okay, I was this ew. And then what's it say underneath this? Like me, I don't
Oh,
know.
you have
They
like
said,
your stats and stuff? Yeah.
yeah, these were all my different like personalities. Okay, but really quick before I go to the next one.
Yeah.
This is the old picture. This was the first fish I ever caught, and one of my aunts printed it out like super big for me, and it was one of the only things I put on my wall. It's me terrified holding this fish that's so heavy. Like, it's just funny. Okay, but here's one. Okay, like, what the heck? This is so stupid. What are these dumb
Oh
pictures?
my.
What are these? These are so bad. I don't know why I'm sharing these with you.
Dude,
Um,
I love them.
this is when I cosplayed as Gamzee from Homestuck.
That's
Um,
sick.
yeah. So that's enough of that. Next topic.
So now that we got like the college experience sort of out of the way, growing up in Hudson in Northeast Ohio, by chance, are you like spiritual, like religious in any way?
This is such an interesting question because I struggle a lot with religion and spirituality because um to me the world is so big. There's so much out there. Like seriously so much out there. And for me it's almost like how can I not believe that there's something else out there that's bigger than us, than me? Like, that's just ignorant to think that we're the greatest. Not sure entirely what I mean by that, but I just think that there is maybe some sort of higher being or power. And it's like difficult because I don't super believe in the Bible or anything like that, but I believe in ghosts. So I do believe in some sort of afterlife. I'm definitely spiritual and I believe in like manifestation. Manifestation is super important to me and super powerful. Um, and like, so growing up, I was raised Christian. My mom was Catholic, my dad was Christian. And we went to, when we moved to Hudson when I was about 5 years old, we started to go to Hope Community Church. And anyone in Hudson that went to Hope Community Church knows that Hope Community Church was a special kind of church. It was like, it sits right off of Middleton. If you go down past Ellsworth a little bit more, it's this pretty white church. And like, we were really involved. And me and my brother, we went to this thing. It was called Awana. And this was essentially like the Bible study that we would go to once a week while we were young. And we had these workbooks that we would do. And the workbooks had all these Bible verses, and you would memorize the Bible verses, and then you'd say them to like the teacher, and we would get Awana cash that we could spend at the Awana store. It was very much that. There was an Awana pledge. Awana, it stands for Approved Workmen Are Not Ashamed. Super interesting. Um, yeah. But from there, I ended up like acting in like the little, I don't want to say the sermons, but like there was like youth groups on Saturday, like when there was like the church masses upstairs, but then downstairs there were like other things that were going on. So I would like read verses and things like that when I was down there. I did really like to do acting and stuff. But like one of the downfall of Hope Community Church for me and my family was every year one thing that they would like put on is something called like Judgment House. And it was this major production that they would do, and they put all this time into it, have all these actors. And one year in my family, we ended up deciding to go. And you go, they turned the church literally into a judgment house. And like you can look them up online. Now this one wasn't like nearly as severe as some of the ones where like you can see online where there's like beatings and brutal stuff, but like you go down there and they like tell you the things that are you like you can go to heaven and hell for, and they're reenacting heaven here and hell there, and like literally trying to like basically scare you essentially into like coming to this church. It was culty, okay?
Okay.
Like, I hate to use that word, but it was weird. And then upstairs, you go upstairs and you talk to somebody that's involved with the church, and they like essentially like rate how well you're doing with the church and like how active you're being, and like essentially and they try to get us all on the same page of whether we think we're going to heaven or hell. And it was not it. So after that, my parents were like, "We're not going there anymore." This was just like absolutely bizarre. Not yeah. And then they started to go to Christ Community Chapel. I didn't do religious stuff after that. I just kind of refound it on my own. And that's on Hope Community Church. And like, yeah.
Yeah, so that sounds almost traumatic to me because like for me if I were to live through that and like have some other people try to like tell me that hey,
I think it was
okay,
traumatic, honestly. I don't think I know that it was. It was definitely something not normal. Yeah, other people that went to Hope, please reach out to me because we need to talk about our experience there.
yeah, that sounds like it would
And
help.
like, yeah, really, the people there weren't bad or any, like it was just a different experience.
Yes.
So,
Um so after that occasion and then you didn't really follow through with your parents to the other church, did you have any like
no,
personal experiences that sort of shaped yourself after that? Like
um,
spiritual experiences, like did you have like moments in
right.
meditation or like
Love meditating. I really, really am into meditating. I I meditate almost every single night. Um, I like to like I will do sleep meditations and things like that, but I also love to meditate like during the day too. Um, I love to use the Calm app. It's great. I also use Headspace. I love that app. And then I have a bunch of YouTubers that do meditations and manifestations, words of affirmations, things like that that I love. And like Jason Stevenson, highly recommend him. I love Michael Seeley, I think his name. I love Meditation Vacation. I love Doxy Dos. I don't know how to pronounce it, but
do you have any manifestation stories that you're willing to share?
oh wow. Honestly, I genuinely manifest so much all the time.
Okay.
Like even just when I was younger, like I can find old tweets when I was like just starting in high school, just starting like taking pictures. Like I would tweet things like, "Can't wait to take pictures of Troye Sivan." Like I'm gonna take pictures of Troye Sivan
Oh wow.
someday. I'm gonna shoot Troye Sivan, things like that. And then like just putting things, I believe you have to put things out into the world, and then like you can genuinely speak things into existence, because when you're like it's about goal setting, and when you're saying things like that, even subconsciously you're going to actively work
Right.
to make those things happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was like I tweeted that for a couple months, and then like a year or two later, oh my gosh, he's going on tour and he's coming to Lakewood. Like, what's gonna happen if I just so happen to email his management, and like boom, and ask for a photo pass? And it's just you never know how things are gonna work out, and you have to. If you don't believe, you won't receive.
That's facts. So I just think that what you said was so important because a lot of people when they hear manifestation they're like, oh, like law of attraction,
No,
like
they don't
it's
get it. They don't get it. They don't get it.
they don't
You
get it.
have to, but if you don't get it, it's not going to work for you. You have to believe yourself that when you're manifesting, you have to believe what you're
Yes.
saying is true. So
Yes.
like, and I've honestly been manifesting and doing affirmations and things for years and meditations. So it's like I've got my affirmations down. Look at like um my last birthday party. My friend Anna Arsham, do you know her? She
Mm. I know all the
she's
Arshams.
Yeah, 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 okay, yeah. But she recommended that I get the gratitude app. Oh, of course, it's unable to load because the Wi-Fi is not good in here. Once, but basically, hang whatever.
It's all
That's
right.
basically, um, I can just like swipe over on my phone, and then like I can usually read like it will tell me like today's like words of affirmations. I mean, even this is like a good positive thing, but like, and then I have a list of like all my affirmations that I put in there, and I can literally just swipe over and like reaffirm them anytime during the day I want, just to like, whenever you're thinking a little. Again, I also get really stressed out. I get really in my head about things, so I have to have little things to help me
Okay.
deal with that.
Yeah, I think it's huge to do that also because I don't know, because it's also one of those things that you don't see an immediate
Yeah,
change in your life and you have to sort of stick with it.
absolutely not.
So
Yeah,
the whole belief aspect is like the
you do.
whole like the faith
That's the whole
aspect is
point of
everything.
it.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of it. And it's like that's again, that's like my spirituality, you know?
Yes.
Like that's what I believe in.
Okay.
So I do believe in more than that though, as I said. Like I just literally don't know what it is.
Okay.
Do I pray? Yes. Is it something that maybe I do just because it makes me feel comfortable and I did it when I was younger? Absolutely. But that's the point.
Um how do I want to say this? When you pray, and you don't have to answer this question if it's too personal, but when you pray, is it more of like an appreciation sort of thing, or like how do you structure your prayers?
Yeah. So from going to church at Hope, they would tell us like you have to start your, and this might just be an overall like religious thing. I don't want to like be misspeaking or anything here. So
Okay.
this is, yeah, just the way that but like it was kind of ingrained in my brain that you have to start your prayers by asking for forgiveness,
Hmm.
and then saying the things that you're grateful for.
Okay.
And then like you'll be listened to after that. So literally I will say like, dear Lord, like, I want to ask you for forgiveness for my sins. Like, I did this and this, and I will, like, but then it's a great way to be self aware. I'm
Right.
going over things in my head, like, oh, I did do this, and blah, 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 blah. I'm sorry for the way I responded to this. And, like, I want to thank you for everything you've done. I appreciate this and that. Now I would like to ask blah da 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 da. And
Okay.
it's literally like just this like routine I have in my head, like that I just like anytime I'm feeling like I need to do it, like I'd like to ask for forgiveness for this. Like I really need you right now. Like blah blah blah.
Okay.
Blah.
That's
But
interesting.
it,
Okay.
yeah.
So it's
I've
so
actually
ingrained
never really spoken that about that really either out
about
loud.
your that structure.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's interesting,
It
but
is
it's
very
like
interesting
I definitely do it like
because
that.
I feel like it's cool because now that it's still I shouldn't say it's not in that frame of reference anymore. I think that what you said about that asking for forgiveness is still like you fessing up. It's like a self confession almost. Like I feel like you get like
Exactly.
compassionate from that self
Exactly.
compassion.
And you take responsibility, and
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, you have to be self-aware and you have to be socially aware. And well, no, you don't have to be, but
you don't have to be, but
yes, ignorance is bliss.
that's cool though, dude. Yeah, because I never thought about it either. Because like I don't usually, I did grow up praying, but it is weird that you say it's comfortable. Because like for whatever reason, it is really comfortable to pray.
It is because yeah, and it's something you do like when you are feeling at a low.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Um, do you think that you're talking to something outside of yourself, or something inside
yes,
of you? If that makes any sense.
I tell myself that I am. I think that I am.
Okay, very interesting. Do you feel that you are a part? You said that you believe in like a higher power, but you're just unsure. Do you believe you're a fragment of? This is gonna sound super abstract. Do you think you're a fragment of that higher power, or do you think you're something else entirely?
I think I'm something else entirely.
Interesting.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I think we're all something else entirely. Like, I don't know. Even just when we think about the Big Bang and go as back as far as we possibly can, in my head, I'm like, okay, well, what started that?
Right.
So it's like you can explain all these chemical things, sciencey things to me, till you like get to the point where it's like, okay, well, what started that? Well, what
Yeah.
did that?
Yeah.
All the way up to the point where there literally was just nothing at all. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I so that's like my brain rationalizing it, and that's it.
I hear you. Yeah,
But I
cause
think it's
yeah,
speciesist to think that we're a higher power or like a fragment of that, and I don't
interesting.
know. I don't know. I don't know. I
One, sorry, keep going.
no, it's okay. We're just apes that evolved.
Yeah, one thing that blows my mind, even if that isn't true, is that all the
Yeah,
atoms that make us up are all have all been present since the Big Bang. So like we're all like ancient being. You know what I mean? Like that just to me that
literally.
blows my mind. It's like
Yes,
regardless of that intelligent divine intervention, intelligent design, the fact that we're here
right.
still blows my mind.
Blows my mind and exists so perfectly the way that we do.
Yes.
And like, I don't know. I kind of believe in miracles, I think. I don't know.
It's like divine intervention type miracles or what? Like what's your definition of miracle?
Just something happening, excuse me. More hiccups. Something happening that's just how did that happen? That doesn't make sense. Like that's just not I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Because that's what I'm saying. I'm not talking about like walking on water, but I'm talking about if your car just fell off a cliff and you're underwater and like then the EMTs barely even find you, but somehow you survived. I'm like, how?
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Or also like even this one time, this was late last year. I was driving home from Cleveland. The rain was really bad, and I like hit a puddle. I started hydroplaning, and like I like spun out on the highway.
Oh shit.
How was it the 1 second that there were no other cars? There were no cars behind me, and there were no cars in front of me. It was literally like it was just me, and then like literally I like spun onto the side of the road, but I was like still just in the middle of the road. And then I just drove away. I was like scared and like, but I was just like, and then like literally, boom, cars are starting to come. I'm like,
Yeah,
how
that's
did
not
they
rough.
not like slam into me? How was there nothing? I don't know. That's just like,
That would keep me up at night because that's some shit that
I'm like, how did this happen? How did I not hit the guardrail? How did like, I was so terrified. It's just like, what?
that's something. Jesus. Yeah, I don't know if I have like a
Exactly,
close call
Jesus,
like that.
period.
What's up?
I said Jesus, period.
Yeah, dude.
No, but I don't really believe in Jesus.
Dude,
I believe he existed and was a real person. I just Okay.
You don't believe in a story arc, is all you're saying.
No. Yeah.
Okay, I get it.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's a whole different conversation for another day.
Very different. Yeah.
Yeah, but still, dude, that's a cool story because that's something that yeah. Okay, so going back a little bit to where you are now. So can you talk about like when you visited LA? Like, tell me about like the people there and how they, I guess, put you on or
Um,
refined your path.
so I have been like so unbelievably blessed to have friends that are as supportive as they are, and they want nothing to do other than to just like uplift everyone around them and like see everyone succeed and to just help everybody out. um, I'm like specifically talking about Emmy Hartman. She's literally one of my best friends. I love her to death. Like she lets me stay in her place every single time that I go for like a week, 2 weeks at a time. Like doesn't ask for anything. Like she's the most give person on the face of the planet. So basically, when I would go there, I did some work with her, and like I did a shoot with her like in college because we met at a Troye Sivan concert. The way I keep talking about Troye Sivan, he was a big part of my life. Not gonna lie, like I was a Troye Sivan stan. Okay, like I really stand him, but she was also somebody that understood stan culture and under like very much was an internet kid, so we clicked really well when we went to the concert. And then later, like a year or two later, I ended up reaching out to her asking her if she wanted to take some pictures, um, and she did. And then she just kept growing on social media and growing, and as she grew she wanted nothing more than to like help me grow.
That's
So
awesome.
we do photos and she like hires me to do a bunch of stuff for her. And it's just gonna
She sounds like she's a true friend.
she really is. She really is. And she introduces me to her other friends. She helps me get other jobs and reaches out to other people that she knows. And it's like she will put me on anytime that she can.
That's
Like
awesome.
she's such a hype man. It's incredible. And I want nothing more than the best for her too. And I'm so thankful for her. And it's really great. It's really changed my whole life. Like going to LA and being with her and like meeting the people that she knows and like really just I mean, because she didn't go to college either. So also getting a totally different perspective from all my friends around here that are in school. And like again, all my besties are around here too. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but just to like be around a bunch of people making it creatively that didn't go to school and then to have them push me and be like, you can do this and we're gonna like see to it. Like we're
Yeah,
gonna help you as much as we can to make like you know what I mean.
yeah.
So it's just really cool, and we all just help each other. I'm going back in on the 19th in 2 weeks. We've got some cool stuff planned while I'm there. I've got a couple cool shoots I'm doing while I'm there that I'm really excited about, and it's awesome.
Okay.
It's really awesome.
So, do you have this is you may have to think, and maybe I'm inserting something, but did you have anything like imposter syndrome before you started working with bigger names?
So I think you need to explain what that is.
So, imposter syndrome is like once you reach a certain level of success that you feel like you sort of like ended up there by accident. Like maybe you're not the right person for the job. This is my
Oh,
understanding of it.
okay. Then yeah, absolutely. I'm
Okay.
just like I'm all the time thinking, how did this happen?
Okay.
Like, but at the same time, it's ridiculously humbling. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And also, I have put a lot of work into where I am. So I don't like to discredit myself and like the things that I've done. But it's definitely like I did get lucky because there's a lot of people that like want to do the things that I'm doing. Um, but like I started reaching out to like people to photograph their shows and things like that when I was in high school,
Mm,
you know? So you have to be your biggest supporter and your biggest motivator because the more that you do and the more you're putting yourself out there, the more people that you're going to meet and the more people are going to want to help you, you know?
yep.
Because it was like no one would want to help me if I wasn't good and wasn't like putting myself out there and like really trying. You know what I
It's
mean?
facts. Yes.
Like people latch onto that energy. You know,
Yes.
that's exactly why I'm on here talking to you because like you're making a podcast and you're uploading consistently and like you know what it is like
Yep.
to just keep doing things, you know what I mean?
And I
And
think the
put it
coolest part about sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, please cut me off all the
Okay.
time.
Okay. So like
I just be saying shit for real.
I got you.
So
So I think the coolest part about what you just said is that like Emmy was this person and you got to experience like all like her best qualities because you
yeah,
were that person. You know what I mean?
right. No, exactly,
Yeah.
100%. Because she is also has the same respect for the things that I'm doing and the work that I'm doing.
Yep.
And the other people that I meet, like also they all it's all the same thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everybody's just like we're really out here trying to make this for ourselves and look at what we're doing.
Yes. And
You
I
know
think
what
to
I
go
mean?
full circle with the whole manifestation thing and like the principle of faith is that
Yep.
also you're
Yeah.
totally right because if Emmy saw you and like maybe you're taking pictures at the concert and she saw that like you were like unconfident and you're like iffy and you're like I
No,
don't know if this
exactly.
is something like you know
We
what I
just
mean like
wouldn't
you
have
can
been
see it.
friends. We
What?
wouldn't have been friends,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Yeah,
So
it's wild to me.
and because that was even like and like that show that we met at was I mean, before she even blew up, like it was just two internet kids seeing Troy Sivan waiting in line all day long that like yeah, just needed some company.
Yeah,
So
it's a cool origin story. I'll say that. Like all the right
it's
things happen, and I think also what you said, just to guess like what you set up some more is that um if you want to get famous by luck, what you have to do is increase the amount of interactions you have with people.
fake it till you make it. You have to literally put on a show, put on the face, literally put out the work, make it like because people will latch onto that energy.
Yes.
And like that's something that is like a mega disconnect. And specifically with social media in general, is like so many people are faking it till they make it. Like, and like I don't know, like a following and this and that does not always equate to success. And seeing people do cool things all the time doesn't mean that you're successful or doesn't mean that you're like making it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, but people will connect with that energy, like
Yes.
if you are
Be-
making it seem like you are, you know?
because like it looks like you're all in, and so I don't want to go after. I don't want a leader of mine to be someone who's like
Right.
walking on eggshells and is like I'm not
No,
sure if I should be
exactly.
doing this. Like I want them
Exactly.
to be like full steam ahead.
I want them to be confident in what they're doing. I don't want to work with someone that isn't gonna uplift me the same way I want to uplift them. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like it's just very much
There's a reciprocal energy,
yeah.
and yeah, yeah,
And even more than that, it's just like a when you just meet someone that you vibe and you key with, you just key and like it works and the energy's there and it's not even some you just don't even think about it.
yeah.
It's
You
like
don't.
you know, and a lot of the things that we do, like it doesn't feel like work. We just do a lot of stuff for fun and we're just into making things, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You have to
Can
love
I
what you do.
say sorry? Say that one more time.
No, I just said you have to love what you do because it's not always about money and
Oh, right.
like,
Um, how did Emmy? If you can just fill me in real quick, for people who don't know Emmy, how did what's just very briefly, how did she get to where she is, and what does she do exactly?
so she lived here in Ohio for a while, worked at Bonefish Grill nonstop. She worked so much building her bread, but she made one video on YouTube. The like you can look up 2017 in a nutshell video where she's crying in her car about a parking ticket. It went super viral, super viral. So many people have seen it. Um, Still reference it today. And then from there, she just like she's really just good at social media, honestly.
Okay.
Has great personality. So and then once TikTok came out, she jumped on that and she's serving her TikTok slay now and just killing it, you know?
Roger.
And it's just one thing after the other.
Okay. Um. So can you tell me what it's like to start to like get, I don't even know what you would call them, like what it's like to start doing work with big names?
Yeah, to get more clients and things like that.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's really interesting. And it's like something that's genuinely really new to me
Okay.
because I really just started like last summer. Like I would do senior pictures and stuff like that and small things, but now I'm really like taking freelance seriously. So it's been crazy. I've gotten to do single and album covers and do merchandise and podcast pictures and stuff like that. And it's really just a lot about it's just networking, reaching out to other people. Like I said, I'm Emmy is amazing and will introduce me to anyone anytime that we're hanging out with each other just because she really is such a great friend. So, and she will plug me whenever. And since, like, it's just from there, you just grow. And then I do one thing for somebody, and then somebody else sees it, and then they're following me, and somebody else is reaching out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's really just like, you just got to keep up with everything.
Yeah. I was gonna say it seems like you have to like ride the wave.
You really do. You really do. And you have to just, it helps to be personable and
It really
like,
does.
thankfully I've worked with genuinely most of the people that I've worked with and that you can see, like, genuinely, I call them, like, I can call pretty much all of them my friends, except for like when I'm shooting concerts where it's like Kim Petras, Troye Sivan, things like that. Like, Brittany, she's one of my friends. When I work with Emmy, it's friends. Ian, like Elle Mills, she's one of my friends. Gasper, friend. It's all just, yeah,
That's cool.
that kind
So
of thing.
this is gonna be like a pretty loaded question, so you can answer not loaded. Maybe it's like it's a big question. So can you describe the creative process when it comes down to you get tasked with making a single cover? Like
Yeah.
what? How do you go about doing that creative
hmm
process wise?
So there's a bunch of different ways too, and so super side note, but like I recently, within the past couple of months, got a job with Universal Music Group, actually, a big record label, and
Congrats.
I've seen, thank you, thank you, thank you. Crazy. Got it from TikTok. I uploaded 2 TikToks and then they found me and they were like, hey, we want you to interview, and just crazy different story for another time. But
Wild.
basically, um, I would say since getting that job over the past couple of months, my process has changed and matured because now I'm seeing like this is actually how it's done. And this is
Right.
like, so now I have, I would say, a more sophisticated approach. And it's like, I'm actually setting up this one shoot on the 22nd with somebody. It's like I'm really excited about it. I can't say who, and I wish I could, but it's gonna be really good.
Damn.
It's like seriously, oh, the styling's gonna be so good too, and just, but basically, it's reaching out to the person, reaching out to their assistant and their stylist, and then it's getting dates that are going to work. And then I'm putting together a deck or a mood board with my vibes for the styling and how I want the shoot to go, planning out the vacation, and it's sending them that. Everybody's like a flow of communication of the ideas, you know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
oh, it'd be cool if we did this, and then pulling outfits for this, and then from there, we'll like schedule the shoot, um, and then it's post processing after that.
Okay.
But it's really like the deck is where a lot of the concept goes into it, where we're figuring out where are we shooting, why are we shooting there, what are we shooting this for? Like, so this is like, okay, so this is for a single. Like, what are your vibes? You know what I mean?
So you set
How
pretty clear intentions going into it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We have to, at least for with Gasper and his album cover, he was like, the album is The Long Halloween. Like, I know the vibes. I want it to be shot at my house. I want it to be in my pool. It would be sweet if you could make it look like all the water around me was orange. And I was like, okay, like let's do it. So he really had a vision for that, you know?
Yeah.
And then we pushed it from there. We did a bunch of variations of that, like shot this way, that way, whatever. And then as we're editing, he was like, oh, because I also shot a lot on a disposable camera too. And we decided we really liked the way it looked on film. So we were like, let's go with that. For it's just like it's a lot of back and forth,
Okay.
honestly. But
That was my main curiosity because if yeah, because I'm curious if how much creative control do you think have you gotten at one point? Like what was the most?
oh, excuse me. So it really, really, really depends. Some things I'll have total, complete creative control over, and other things it's the complete opposite. What do I have the most control over? Honestly, most of the things that I do for free with my
Okay.
friends for fun, you know, where it's like, okay, I have this idea, I want to do this. Let me send you this mood board, like let's go shoot this,
Yeah.
you know? Um, but even then, like a lot of my friends, they'll just be like, "Hey, like we want to pay you for some pictures. Like we trust you. Do whatever you want."
Right.
And like that's awesome too. But it's again, it's very back and forth because like my friends, like I completely trust them too. Like I
Mm,
know that they're gonna send me 5 different outfits that are gonna be insane, and I'm gonna be like, okay, so I can get inspiration from that. Like, oh, that looks cool. Like maybe let's go shoot this here. You know?
mm.
So yeah,
Okay.
I don't know if that even answered the
No,
question.
it did. It did. Cause yeah. So can you give me if it's public information, maybe we have to contact the man, but can you describe what went down with you making soap, Aiden's cover art?
Oh, yeah. So that was like super relaxed. He told me that he was into my collage style, liked my pictures. Literally, I made this mood board, sent it to him. He said he was really into the neutrals, told me that he wanted me to write the title with collage. I said, okay, bet, let's do it. Um, I picked a random park. I said, let's go, let's shoot, took some pictures. And that was very much like, I didn't even have a full vision with that, but I love to just like take some pictures and especially with my collaging, just cut them up and then start playing around, you know, and see
Okay.
where it goes. And then I'll send him 25 different pictures do like this that are all like a tiny little bit different and get emphasized on this. This looks cool. This looks cool. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Especially if we're doing something like a single or an album, I'm way more focused on like what they like and what they want because it's representing them.
for sure.
But it's like if I'm doing a personal project, like I'm gonna shoot this and I'm gonna edit the pictures I want and I'm gonna send you the ones that I edit and that's kind of gonna be it, you know?
Yes. Okay. Very cool.
Yeah.
Um, how often do you find yourself consciously being like, wow, like I improved so much since this point?
All the
That makes any
time.
sense. Okay.
I mean, especially because I haven't deleted anything off of my Instagram. You can
Mm.
scroll back and look at all my high school pictures, and it's like it's inspiring though. It's motivating
Yeah.
to go back. I mean, anytime I post a new picture, I'll just do like 2 flicks and I'm like, "Wow, like this is crazy. I'm doing this right now and I was doing this 4 months ago."
Mm.
You know?
Yeah.
But that's just the fun in making art. That's the fun in improving and growing and trying new things, you know?
Okay. Do you
But it's
have? Oh, sorry. Keep going.
no, I was just saying it's every day that I'm like
Okay.
reflecting on something.
Do you have like a piece of work so far that you think is like your favorite or your best?
Mhm. That's tough.
Or I should say the most proud. Like if you look back on something, you're like, yeah, like I kind of went off on that. Like,
Oh, it's so different because so many of them I really, really love for different reasons.
mm,
Honestly, though, like so this is I didn't even take any of these pictures. This is just a collage that I did, but it was like all assets that I found and stuff like that. But it was for Charlie XCX. This was a collage I
that's
made.
cool.
I'm obsessed with this. Like I seriously everything about it. Like, from the way that the glare on the tape over her eye makes it look like she has two winged eyeliner things, like,
Mm,
all accidental. I just really love the way this came out.
that's cool.
Um, I could pick maybe, like, 2 more,
Do it.
if that's possible. But, oh, it's really tough. I loved the shoot that I did with Emmy and Ian. Like, I really like the whole everything styling concept. Um, and then this is one of my favorite pictures because I don't know if this is going to show up on here.
Mhm.
It's a complete accident, but her face somehow
Oh, it looks like a
showed up.
ghost or some shit.
Yes, that was not on purpose. That's not edited. I don't know what happened.
Yo,
And it's literally like, huh? So yeah, I
I
love
need an
that about
explanation for that. What the hell?
the same. Obsessed with it because of that.
So, have you
Yeah.
seen ghosts yourself, or you just say you believe in ghosts because,
No,
like,
I haven't seen them, but I believe in them.
okay,
And my dad said he saw one, and my dad wouldn't lie about that.
got it, dude.
Like,
Okay, sorry,
yeah.
that was really fucking funny. Anyway, can you tell me about what it's like, what the money situation is like, given your current
Well, I
employment?
still live at home with my parents in Hudson, Ohio, since dropping out. I stay with my boyfriend most of the time in Kent. He's the best. I love him. His name's Thomas. Shout out Thomas. Shout out to everyone at 118 Sherman. Anyways, if you made it this far, 118 Sherman, y'all real ones. Anyways, um, but yeah, I do still work at this. I work at the Sunglass Hut. I've got going on 5 years now. I also have a job part time for UMG, and I freelance photo, and I still can't afford to live on my own. So it's definitely this success is not success isn't equated to money. Like, you really, especially with art, you have to really put yourself out there and take jobs and do things that aren't always going to be paid just for networking aspects and things, but also like as a whole, the creative community, we need to start charging more. Like, we cannot work for free. And I really don't work for free at all anymore. It's more just that because of that, it's hard to like find jobs all the time. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's very much a balance again. Fake it till you make it. Like, I can't wait till I get to the point where I am doing photo and art completely full time and can quit Sunglass Hut and can direct music videos and creative direct and things like that, you know?
Manifestation in the action right there.
Oh, absolutely. It's
Okay.
gonna be amazing
And then
when I get
also,
there.
sorry, keep going.
I know it's okay. You can honestly talk over me anytime. It's fine.
Okay. Um, yeah, because Nick McEwen, who, even though his episode hasn't been released yet at the time of this recording, he
Yeah.
talked about Nick McEwen is a TikTok rising legend. He
Yeah.
has over 200,000 TikTok followers. And he talks about in his episode, I'll put a card up in the corner for y'all to click on. He talks about how despite having a certain level of TikTok fame, really the money comes from brand deals. So
Right.
just to reiterate exactly what you're saying is that follower counts do not necessarily equate to money or success.
At
Um,
all.
so I think it's a very important thing for people to internalize, especially if they go on the route to try to become like a TikTok
It's
star.
really about your work. Your work is gonna be what speaks for you.
Mm.
Like, if your work is good, people are gonna reach out and like want to do things with you. But like, it's gonna take time. It's gonna take a lot of time, and you have to be consistent, and you have to just keep doing things, um, because you're gonna keep going up and up, and you still might not be making money. So,
Adam, before we go, do you have any plugs? Social media profiles? Any of that?
oh, sure, you could follow my at Adam V. Martin. That's
Okay,
pretty much it.
Instagram. Got you. Okay, if you made it this far, thanks for watching. Peace.
Yeah, thank you.